Okay guys, so the question that comes up a lot out there, especially with guys that are newer to firearms and new shooters and things, and people that just get their carry concealed license, and they may not know a whole lot about guns. But that question is a 9mm adequate for self-defense? And the answer to that question is a resounding yes. Okay, and I'm going to go into a little bit of detail of why that the 9mm is definitely adequate for self-defense. Number one, the ammunition that has came out here in the recent years for the 9mm, I believe has taken that platform almost to a new level in its capabilities. Hornady, Corbin, Spear Gold Dot, HST, Golden Saber, the list goes on and on. I know I'm missing a few. They have pushed this round to capabilities that is never what this round was in the beginning. So much more now. A lot of guys have what I call is repeated myths, especially when it comes to guns and firearms. You have a lot of guys out there, especially some of the older ones, not making fun of any older people. I have nothing but respect for my elders. But you have guys out there that talk to these younger guys and guys that hang out at gun stores, and they say things like, the 45 is a proven man stopper. And to a degree, I can see some factualness in that comment, but not 100%, okay? There is several cases where people were shot with a 45 more than once, and it did not drop the guy to the ground. So the myth of you shoot somebody with a 45 and no matter where it hits them, they fall down to the ground and they're out, that's just a myth. Sort of like the shotgun myth of you don't have to aim, and the shotgun myth of racking a slide scares people off. Don't believe it. Of course, there is times that could happen. You rack a slide and it scares somebody off, but it doesn't mean it's the norm. Just like a well-placed 45 shot will take a man out, will drop a man to the ground, but that's not always the case depending on where you shoot. No standard handgun caliber takes it from a 9mm to a new level. The only thing that takes it from a 9mm to a complete new level would be getting a rifle. That's the only time you're going to go to a new level. I love the 45, guys. The 45 is a proven round. It's been around for over 100 years. I love it. I think it's awesome. One of my personal favorite rounds. So don't think that I'm by any means putting down the 45. I will always love the 45. Have several guns that shoot 45. But it is not something where you say, take this gun, take this 45, and it's going to put you on a whole new level from every other handgun caliber out there. Because as with anything, shot placement is key. Shot placement is always going to be key with a handgun. Now, a couple of advantages, actually, of the 9mm. Then this is depending on your training level and how much training you have and different things like that. So it's going to vary from person to person, but for the most part, this is going to be fitting. And what that is with a 9mm, and guys, you don't even need a plus P round. I'll get into that in a minute. But with a 9mm, there's going to be less recoil. A lot of people shoot that round a little bit more accurately because there's not as much going on when the round goes off as far as recoil and noise and just different things like that. So some of the advantages of a 9mm is the recoil is less than high pressure rounds like the 40, the 357 SIG, and things such as that. And you're able to get follow-up shots on faster if you need to. A lot of times you can take a guy that shoots and he shoots decently with a 9mm, you take and put a high pressure, like a 357 SIG or 40 or something like that in his hands, and all of a sudden his groups start to open up like this. You want to know why that is? That's because there's so much more happening when that round fires, and he's now starting to anticipate more, and he's flinching more for that round. So 2 357 SIG rounds that go wide are never as good as a 9mm that hits its intended target. But I'm not picking on any of these rounds. I don't have any 357 SIG at the moment, but I have all the standard handgun rounds in several of my guns. 40s and 45s, 9mm. I'm just trying to lay out some facts here that'll get you thinking appropriately on the 9mm round. So anytime you get something that has less going on, less noise, less blast, less recoil, the common sense rule is that you are going to be a little bit more accurate and handle that gun a little bit better. Okay, most times. Unless you're just a straight out beginner. So never worry about a 9mm for self-defense, home defense, anything like that. If you want to know my personal 2 favorite rounds, that's not a hard one for me. My 2 personal favorites are going to be real easy to tell you for handguns, and that's 9mm and 45 ACP. Love those 2 rounds. High pressure rounds aren't too bad. I don't deal with much 357 SIG. I don't think it's a bad round. It's a very fast round. I like high speed rounds, and it'll definitely get you some good penetration and open up like it should. Now let's go back to why I stated that in most cases, well, I'll tell you when you need plus P ammo more and when you really don't need it at all. Now it's a choice. It's up to you what you want to run. The plus P ammo is going to have a little bit more kick, and things like that. But just depending on what you want to run, it's up to you. I'm not going to try to sell you either way. But like if you have a Glock 19 size gun with that size barrel, Glock 17, any of what you'd call the mid to full size guns, I don't see any problem with just running standard 9mm self-defense ammo. Now when you really should start thinking about plus P ammo is when you get into like the Beretta Nano, the Smith & Wesson Shield, the XDS-9. The shorter the barrel is, the less velocity you have coming out of that gun. You're now wanting to squeeze every inch you can out of that ammo. You need it. You need to squeeze every bit of power you can with the ammo that you get. Because if you want that round to open up properly, I'm not saying that it wouldn't with a standard round in those small guns, but if you want the round to open properly and do what it should do, the more speed it has coming out of there, the better. And it's going to lose a little bit of speed naturally because of the shorter barrel. So if you want to go plus P in your short barrel guns, I'd say that's excellent. Because you're now bumping the speed up to where it would almost be like shooting the round through a little bit longer of a barrel. And it has a much better chance of opening and having the penetration that it should have when it hits a target. So that's some of my thoughts, guys, on the 9mm, and I hope you found it informative. And I just want to restate again, I don't have anything against any of the standard handgun calibers. There's only one I think I could kind of complain about, and I don't think there was a need for it, and I don't think it'll catch on, and that's the 45 GAP. I never have wanted to get anything chambered in 45 GAP. But as far as everything else goes, all your standard handgun calibers, whatever you use, train well with it, and and you'll be okay. But never think that the 9mm is not adequate for self-defense or home defense, because there's a lot of bodies laying in the ground that sure would speak to you otherwise. All right, guys, this is H4T, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.